Something special has been happening in this very city in the last 3 days. This young man is becoming a superstar right before our very eyes. Hey folks, my name is Dylan Brett, and my goal is to help you watch basketball from a brand new perspective. Now, unless you've been living under a rock for the past few weeks or so, you know full well that Devin Booker has been the most dominant player in the NBA playoffs by far. Through 9 postseason games, Booker is currently averaging 36.7 points per game on 61% shooting, including a 51% mark from three-point range. After falling behind 2-0 to Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, a pair of scintillating performances by Booker have allowed the Suns to climb back into the series and tie it up at 2. Booker has dropped a combined 83 points in his last 2 games, while also shooting an unreal 79% from the field. So, what is Booker's secret to dominating these playoffs? How has he become such an efficient scorer all of a sudden? The answer may be simpler than you think, as it really just boils down to his shot selection. Just 2 words. Booker is spearheading a massive mid-range jumper revolution right now, a method of scoring largely believed to be going extinct in today's NBA. Of Booker's 209 field goal attempts in the playoffs, 75.9% of them come from inside the arc, the most among qualified guards by a wide margin. Additionally, 56% of Book's field goal attempts are of the pull-up variety, with another 36.2% coming from inside 10 feet. Booker's effective field goal percentage on pull-up jumpers currently sits at 61.6% on the postseason, the best among qualified players. Impressive numbers to say the least, right? So, without further ado, let's fire up the film and break down Mr. Midrange's recent dominance over Denver. First things first, we need to understand something, and that's what on earth happened to the mid-range jumper. Why is it all of a sudden such a novel thing that Booker is looked at differently for? It goes without saying that we've come a long way from the introduction of the three-point line, and teams across the league are putting extra emphasis on shooting threes over the last decade or so. Steph Curry's footprint, coupled with recent analytical revolutions, have triggered a three-point renaissance across the basketball world. After all, a three-pointer is worth more than a two-pointer, and a jump shot outside of 10 feet only carries about a 7% higher likelihood of being made than a three-point shot based on league averages from the 2023 regular season. In the last 11 years, there were just 4 occasions where the NBA champion boasted one of the top 3 mid-range shooters in the game in terms of field goals made or field goal percentage. Only 4 times, in 3 cases with the Spurs, did they not boast a top 10 mid-range shooter. The league now boasts better athletes than ever before, and players are able to get to the rim at historic rates in today's NBA. A look at any NBA shot chart will tell you that teams are shooting the ball from 2 places. That's behind the arc or right near the basket. Because of this, things like charging and blocking fouls in the NBA playoffs are up 17% year over year, and we've started seeing plays like this and players like this, i.e. Ja Morant. However, here is the caveat, and what some teams, such as the Suns, are now trying to exploit. Teams are placing all their defensive focus on defending the perimeter or defending the rim. And what does that leave open? Everything in between, the mid-range. And that is where Devin Booker has been shining all postseason long. Typically, when teams face off with the Nuggets in the playoffs, it's all about exploiting the defense and athleticism, or lack thereof, of Nikola Jokic, usually with a heavy dose of high pick and roll. The Nuggets have countered this by hedging ball screens against the high pick and roll, along with dragging help defenders towards the paint like shown here. What this does is tempt the Suns into making long, nearly impossible skip passes to hit the only open man, something they clearly haven't been comfortable with, and it's evident in games 1 and 2. Now, side note, we're going to be talking a lot about hedging and icing ball screens in this video and ways to counter the high pick and roll. If you're confused on any of these topics or just want to learn more, I highly recommend tuning into my recent video on the New York Knicks defense, where we cover these subjects much more in depth. Anyways, just watch this set here. Jokic hedges the high ball screen, taking 2 hard steps towards the ball handler to try and force a quick decision, while Jeff Green also slides towards the paint to defend the roll option. The only open man on the court is Damian Lee, who's a good 35 feet from the basketball. Again here, Jokic comes flying up to hedge the ball screen, forcing the ball handler into a quick decision, and MPJ, the help defender, comes flying across from the corner or the weak side for the steal. Now, how do people counter teams who like to hedge the high pick and roll? A primary weakness of this coverage is mid-range jumpers, especially from the free throw line. If we watch the same clip from earlier and pause it right here, when Jokic hedges the ball screen, and before the help defenders slide over, look at the massive soft spot in the teeth of that defense right above the free throw line. Watch here how Jokic hard hedges the ball screen as Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon come sliding into the paint to defend the roll option. Now KD is once again left wide open in the corner, tempting a long skip pass, but Ayton finds the soft spot in the defense and opts for the free throw line floater. It's that easy. So now let's get into how Devin Booker has been able to exploit this coverage in games 3 and 4. Alright, finally time to put the spotlight on the man of the hour, Devin Booker. In this set, the Suns immediately get the ball to Booker on the weak side as soon as Denver hedges the ball screen like we saw in those previous clips. They're purposely going away from that heavy help defense coming from the weak side. Ayton also rolls towards the free throw line, giving Denver the illusion that Phoenix is opting for that same free throw line jumper we just saw moments ago in the video. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be a ball handling coach, but it's no secret that the elbow has been Booker's sweet spot in these playoffs, and you'll almost always see him leverage his dribble moves to get to that spot that he wants. Couple this with KCP giving Book way too much space and allowing him to make that slide, and it's too easy for number one. Now in this next clip, Ayton comes over and sets a pseudo cross screen for KD. The Suns once again hedge hard. Now, just like the last clip, a quick swing to the weak side creates a mismatch as Booker is isolated against Aaron Gordon. He fakes hard and catches Gordon in a bit of a backpedal, and he'll once again get to his spot with ease. One thing I will say about Booker is that you should take note of his ability to generate leverage from his lower half in his ball handling. He covers so much ground with his crossovers, all because of his understanding of weight control and using that lower half. Just watching this next clip, a special shout out to anyone who watched our Golden State Warriors breakdown here. The Suns love to run this set. They fake Golden State's vaunted split action offense using gravity to drag the Nuggets across the floor, opening up a wide open mid-range for D-Book. Booker has also become a master of the hesitation game over the years, but especially in these last 3 games, making him absolutely lethal in the transition game, where he catches defenders backtracking time and time again. Overall, these Suns-Nuggets games have been absolute wars so far. Probably some of the most fun I've had watching basketball this season. Although guys like Booker and Jokic have been stealing all the headlines, I didn't want the amazing chess match between Mike Malone and Monty Williams to get lost in the shuffle. So next game in this series between these two teams, watch closely how both sides read and react to pick and roll coverages discussed in this video. Also watch how guys like Booker create space, watch how guys like Jokic defend up high, but most importantly, watch how they adapt over the course of the game. The Suns are running a completely different offense than the first 2 games of this series, and the Nuggets will likely counter tonight in Game 5. And that, my friends, is where the true beauty of this series lies. But Booker's pretty entertaining as well.